everybody, and welcome to Mary Elizabeth Jones's Variety Hour.
Yay! Woo, 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 woo. We got the dog pound going on. This show is from Cleveland, Ohio. All right, and the Mary Elizabeth Variety Hour. It's my second favorite show, right after Captain Kangaroo. And Mr. Rogers. And the third favorite. No, now and my name is Kaye Lazar. I'm her special guest star, and as usual.
Yes.
You look very nice today. What's that on your shirt there?
It's
You hold it up to us. Take off the shirt and show us. Now what is that? Okay. It's an elephant.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful elephant with
Yeah.
art designs and all that stuff. This is a LuLaRoe shirt.
Oh, okay.
It's called a live or something like that. A live. It's a shirt called the live.
Oh, we didn't even plan this. Look, I got an elephant too on my yoke. This is Babar. Babar. Yeah, I put the wounded warriors on top, but because they deserve. While the imperial royal king of whatever country that was in Africa, he's the king of Babar, the French elephant in the French in those books when you were a kid. Babar, they were good books. Yeah,
We're wearing elephants today, so
elephants. Yeah.
good,
No, we always think alike, and
Yeah, exactly.
you don't have martini glasses on your tie, though.
Oh,
Martini, and so yeah, so that's very nice. The elephant is a you know why an elephant is called a pachyderm?
Why?
Because because the guy who wrote the dictionary, I guess Samuel Johnson said, well, what's a pachyderm? He goes, of all the animals that should be called a pachyderm, let's call an elephant one. You know,
Oh my gosh.
elephants. Oh, I have a funny joke about elephants. There's a lot of elephant jokes. One was guy told me I eat peanuts all the time. I love peanuts, and and I said, they say people whenever you eat a lot of peanuts, people say, you're gonna get fat eating peanuts. I said, well, yeah, really, that's possible, but I don't eat that many peanuts, and I've
Right.
never heard of anyone getting fat from eating
Right.
too many peanuts. And he says, I know someone who's gotten fat eating too many peanuts. I said, who? And he said, elephants. I tell you, elephants must eat a lot of peanuts to get that fat. Elephants are like, my dad told me that's his favorite animal at the zoo because they seem
Oh.
like kind of nice animals.
Yeah.
Do you know that an elephant, I saw this in a movie with Clint Eastwood, Hunter, Black Heart or something, Black Death, or I don't know what it was called. But he played John Huston
Oh yeah.
making the African Queen.
Yeah.
And the whole point of this movie in the day was simply for John Huston to go to Africa to shoot an elephant because
Right.
elephants weren't like an endangered species then. People were shooting them.
Yeah.
And something you should know about elephants is that elephants it take while it takes 9 months to have a baby in the human world, in elephant world, it takes 2 years.
Right.
They have a gestation period of 2 years, and they're very protectful of each other.
Right.
So if you shoot an elephant, they don't travel by themselves. They're not like sharks. They travel in a group.
Right.
And you shoot at an elephant, they'll all turn around and stampede you. And let me tell you something, there is no place to hide in Africa in a field. You can't hide behind a tree or up a tree or something. The elephants are going to turn around and kill you. And rightly so. I'm glad to see that, elephants have that sort of family
Right.
have that sort of family instinct.
Right.
We should all be that way. I'm that way. You're that way.
Yeah, exactly.
We're
Right.
getting close
Exactly.
getting close to we're getting close to Thanksgiving, and a lot of people aren't going anywhere for Thanksgiving. They're staying at home. So Tell me about your Thanksgivings in the day. Where did you go? Did you? Oh, a lot of in my life, we don't. There's not very adventuresome. Our back. We all get together in the one place, usually parents' house, and we all eat dinner. And we all yell at each other. We all watch television,
Yeah.
and then it's a good day, though. At the end of the day, it
Right.
usually turns out
Right.
pretty well.
Right.
But what were your Thanksgivings like?
I usually go see my family every year.
Now, parents and dad and
Yeah, parents,
grandparents.
everything,
Yeah, yeah,
grandparents, my aunts and uncles
yeah,
and cousins
yeah.
and all that good stuff.
Now you sit at the kiddie. You still sit at the kiddie table. Or you go to the move to the big table.
Oh, I gotta do anything. I gotta do anything. Yeah.
I was moved from the kiddie table to the big table once I got of age,
Yeah.
and there were more kids at the kiddie table than
Right.
used to be. Me and about three other people were at the kiddie
Right.
table.
Right.
Now, now there's a lot of kids, and there's fewer adults. So I get to sit at the big table. But you want to know something? I prefer sitting at the kiddie table. Not
Me
that I
too.
like the kiddie table, like sitting in that little,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
card
Right.
table. But
Right.
I did like talking with those kids, hanging with the youngsters,
Yeah.
telling them to
That's
stay in
fun.
school and
Yeah.
telling them not to take drugs.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes
Or when I was a kid, get out of school, take drugs.
Right. Right.
But no, and then I would, but then now I'm at the adult table. Behave yourself. Take your elbows off.
Yeah.
At least the
Exactly.
kiddie table, get what you want. Like it's like being in Ireland again.
Yeah.
It's like a party. And I know I was at a wedding not too long ago, and
Oh.
actually it was a while ago. I always think not too long ago. It was back probably 5 years ago, and I went to this wedding, and there was a kiddie table, but the kiddie
Oh.
table was I mean, it wasn't a little table. It was a
Right.
big table
Right.
with lots of kids at it,
Right.
with their with their special diet, no peanuts,
Oh.
no chocolate, nothing. And then instead of having like steak and lobster, they had chicken fingers and fish sticks and
Ew, no
the typical kid
fun.
stuff like. Well, the kids love it.
Yeah, yeah,
Kids
that
don't like
makes sense.
lobster and
Yeah.
steak. They can't eat it. It's their little mouths can't chew it. They can eat the fish sticks, all right, and the chocolate pudding and all that stuff. So, so anyway, I'm sitting at this table. I sit with the kids. I get my good food. I sit at the table with the kids. Hey, rah, 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 rah. And I'm Mr. Big Shot. Rah, 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 rah. Boogie, woogie, woogie, woogie. I look at my friend who's the same age as me, and he's sitting with the adults. He says, "Why are you sitting at the kiddie table?" I said, "Why aren't you sitting with us? This is your people." And he was with a bunch. I'm not kidding you. They all had, they all had the white hair and the and the ham and the whatever old people
Yeah,
eat, the
yeah,
the
yeah.
mushed peas and
Yeah.
the mashed, but nothing that they could chew.
Yeah.
They're all they all had that face. It looked like it looked like. I'm sad to say this. It looked like God's waiting room.
Oh.
This table, the cast from Lost. It looked like this table. So he was sitting there, and I was sitting there, and then my dad was there. And my dad's really old guy. He he took my lead, and he refused to sit with the old folks who were all younger than him, and sat with me and all the cool people at the kids' table. Now I had to usurp my. Now he was the big shot. Yeah, yeah, I knew Frank Sinatra. Yeah, I knew the Beatles.
Oh
I knew
man.
Elvis.
Hallelujah.
Well, I had nothing to say.
I'd rather sit in the kids' table
I
anyway.
know. That's where all the fun is.
Yeah, more fun.
Well, actually, you know what? You know what table has the most fun?
What?
That table that I'm sitting at. Whatever table it is. I have nothing but miserable pity for anyone who sits at the other table and doesn't want to sit with me and the cool people. It's sort of almost like high school where you have that dynamic, the cool kids
Yeah.
table. So my joke is that sort of like the same joke I just told
Right.
is that uh, do you always sit at the cool people's table? I say, yeah, by virtue of the fact that I'm sitting at it makes it the cool kids table. So yeah, so that's what was I talking about? Oh, send the next guy out. No, you have other guests on the show. Oh, I have to talk for the next 3 hours. How long is this show? Now, so yeah, so then so the Thanksgiving, I don't know I'm hoping for a rather low key Thanksgiving. I think every night, sort of, we kind of Thanksgiving out in
Yeah.
this pandemic because we're eating every meal with our family now. We're stuck with them,
Yeah.
stuck with,
Right.
and
Yeah.
we're eating good food. We're not eating at fast food anymore,
Right. Yeah.
or we're getting fast food and bringing it home, which is fine.
Right.
It's
Right.
better than taking.
That's right.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
atmosphere, you know.
Yeah. My dad and I might go over to a friend's house.
Okay.
It's just going to be the three of
Yeah.
us.
Okay.
Because we have a lady friend of ours
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we've known for it's not wasn't too long, but he's my dad's met her a little it
Yeah.
was like a little while
Okay.
ago.
That's nice.
But I called her to see if she wants to have Thanksgiving with us.
Oh,
So she's like, oh yeah, we could go get some stuff and
yes.
to cook and all that kind of stuff. So
Thanksgiving is a. I don't know how it's going to be this time. I'm kind of looking forward to actually taking it easy this Thanksgiving
yeah,
and
right.
just watching television and oh yeah, come on in, have a slice of turkey.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
yeah, like nothing's going to stop my Thanksgiving.
Yes.
I'm still going to celebrate it no matter what.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
like
we do.
Christmas.
We do.
So you know,
And Thanksgiving.
yeah,
I I I hate all that awkward talk. What are you thankful
right.
for? Well, I'm thankful for being here. I'm thankful for, I'm thankful for having a place to go when this is all over. Home.
Yeah,
But let's see. And I like the I like everything at Thanksgiving.
yeah, me too.
In fact, there's nothing I don't like at Thanksgiving. The food wise, you know that there was it's a new in my time. They didn't have this when I was very young, but they had it as I got a little older. Was that green bean mushroom soup casserole?
Oh, straight meat casserole. I make that sometimes,
Yeah.
and everybody loves it.
You know where that comes from? The Campbell Soup Company
Oh wow.
had this soup called cream of mushroom soup.
Oh yeah,
And
that's good soup.
well, have you ever eaten it?
I think I've eaten the soup years ago,
You might
but
have had the soup, but it's like it's like watered down milk with mushrooms in it. Very salty and everything. Well, because no one was eating this godforsaken stuff,
yeah.
they actually went to their brain trust at Campbell Soup and they said, "How can we boost people eating this soup? Because they love the chicken noodle soup, they love this chicken and stars soup, they love the tomato
I
soup.
used to love the chicken and stars when I
Yeah,
was growing
the
up.
chicken and
So
that's all good. The chicken and rice soup,
chicken noodle, everything.
chicken and chicken soup.
Yeah,
They put two pieces of chicken fat. It's all dark meat in the chicken
yeah.
soup. Yeah, and well, actually, I remember eating it pretty well. And so they had this. So they said, well, what can we do with this soup? No one's buying it. No one's eating it. Hate to have to discontinue it. So one woman, she was when she died a few years ago, they actually made it. She was headlines.
Yeah.
The inventor of this string bean casserole
Right.
for Thanksgiving and Christmas. She invented this recipe to not to use the stuff as soup, but to use it as gravy
Oh
or
yeah.
as gravy for the
Yeah.
for it. And as a result of that, the cream of mushroom soup is the biggest selling soup Campbell's has.
Oh wow.
I mean, it was a gold mine getting people to, and actually it took off very well because
Wow.
in fact, people had a hard time eating green beans.
Wow.
You take things people
Yeah.
don't want to eat, green beans,
Yeah. I mean, that's a
and
good
and
flavor,
and mushroom soup, and they smush them together. Oh,
Right.
it's good. It's delicious.
Oh
Well, just
yeah.
you know, Can I have a green bean casserole with no mushroom soup on it? Can I have the mushroom soup without the green beans? Put them together to taste good. Now, I remember the one time I had the cream of mushroom soup. Somebody said, "What are you doing?" And I was eating it, with a sandwich
Right.
for lunch when I was a
Right.
kid.
Right.
And I said, and I said, they said, "What are you eating?" And I said, "I'm looking for a mushroom in this cream of nothing soup." Now there was I remember my mom would always try to get me to eat healthier food. She didn't think Campbell soup was very healthy. She would get this she would get the soup like chicken and stars soup,
Mhm.
and it'd be very hot. We didn't
Yeah.
have microwaves in those days. You had to boil it on the stove,
Yeah.
in a pat, and then you put it in the bowl.
Mhm.
And and she and it was all milky and cloudy. I kind of like my soup clear.
Yeah.
Well, I said, I looked at it, and I must have been like 6 years old, and I said to my mom, "What the hell is this?" She goes, "I put some milk in it," thinking that you wouldn't want it so hot. You'd want it kind of cooled off. I said, no, I'd rather have it hot. I'll wait for it to get cooled down. I don't want any milk. I don't want anything added to. I don't want any of the moo juice in my my Campbell soup. Give me a cup of milk and I'll drink it in my Dixie cup or something. My sippy cup. And those crazy straws, yeah. You would use those crazy straws to drink your milk, and then all the rotting milk would stay in it if you didn't wash them properly, which you never washed them properly because it's very hard to wash the inside of a crazy straw.
Yeah.
Get sick. And so yeah, and the so that's the but I like the turkey, I like the mashed potatoes, I like the stuffing, I like the ham with the pineapple on it. That's all good.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Thanksgiving dinner is better. For some reason, tastes better than Christmas dinner, even though it's the same thing. I don't know
Yeah.
why you have this 11-month fast before
Right.
it,
Yeah.
but then with Christmas you only have a month from the last dinner. So turkey again. We just had this last month.
Yeah. We on Christmas we usually have ham. On
Ham is
Christmas,
good.
I love ham.
We usually
I
have
love,
both.
I love both.
In fact, but we don't usually. Usually you eat what the bigger thing is.
Yeah.
So save the turkey.
Okay.
We're saving that for the guests.
Yeah.
You eat the ham is always a huge thing, and and it's really good. It has pineapple and maple syrup, and then it's salty. How did it work that out? It's every spice. It doesn't. I wonder what real ham tastes like. All I know is the flavors they add to it. Yeah, and so that's so tell me, how is your acting career coming along?
Good. Good. There's just one thing I gotta do tomorrow night,
Hmm.
which is I'm just doing finishing with the voiceover that
Hmm.
I'm gonna be doing with the scene.
The voiceover.
So
Okay.
I think
Was it a
tomorrow.
cartoon?
Uh,
Are you Mel Blanc?
no, it's yeah, tomorrow may be my last day to rehearse
Okay.
because you know the other scenes that are going on this week they're I'm not in. So
Okay.
but I was there last week for the whole week because I was in most of those scenes. And tomorrow night they just need me for like just a little voiceover
Okay.
type of thing.
All
So
right.
yeah. So I don't know what's going to be going on Thursday because I may have to keep that open in case they need me again
All
for
right.
something. So
The show must go on.
yes, exactly. But otherwise, so far they just need me for tomorrow night. So
Hmm.
yeah, but I'm excited because I'm almost finished with the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should be showing it around the first week of December.
Okay. It's
Yeah,
on the YouTube, on
I
the
think
internet.
it's even on YouTube or Facebook
Yeah.
or what some of the stuff
Because this
online.
show is on YouTube.
Yeah,
Or they're going to rename YouTube the Mary Elizabeth channel. It has other things too, cat videos and
Yeah,
propaganda for
yeah,
unpopular political beliefs. But it also has Mary Elizabeth's show.
yeah.
I let's see. Not a whole lot of. I tried doing a show last week with my colleague Vince, but I seem to enjoy doing the show with you. So we're doing it. We're gonna keep doing the show until we get it right. I was on a show. What I like about the shows we do is that there's no phone calls,
Yeah,
and there was other shows I've been on where we had phone calls. And once you give the the voice of the people their a chance to give their voice of the, they're not always sometimes they're there to sabotage the show. And I remember once someone actually called in and said, "I'd like to ask an intelligent question," and I said, "Well, you picked the wrong show for that." So, so yeah, so I've been, I've been excited. I've been listening to music. How's your music coming along?
good, good. Yeah,
Yeah. Now, do you have any records to show us? You always have records to show us.
I do.
So
I have a
yeah,
few
take
right
a
here in
take.
the bottom.
Let's take a bit. We'll talk about records. Yeah.
Yes.
Mary Elizabeth is one of the great holdouts for vinyl. She's a real hipster or hipstress.
That's me, all right.
Right. Regular beatnik. All she needs is a beret.
Right.
And all I need is a beard and I'd be just as hip. So a goatee and and a cigarette holder. So look, you remember? Oh, by the way, do you have any? We're not going to talk. We don't have it now, but do you in your record collection have any Mitch Miller albums?
I have a Christmas one.
A Christmas album
I'll be
because
showing that coming up
okay,
over
we'll talk
Christmas.
about. I got a whole speech about Mitch Miller, but
Uh,
I used to like his beard.
I do. I love this Mitch Miller. I have his Christmas one that
Yeah,
belonged to my grandmother
yeah,
years ago.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Sing along with Mitch.
Yes, I love that. That's like the best Christmas, one of the
Yeah.
best Christmas albums ever put
Oh
out.
yeah, it is good. It's,
So
has one big hit on there.
used to,
Uh,
they used to
Must
come.
Be Santa.
Yes, I like that. That's
Yeah,
my favorite. And
yeah.
they used to come with the sheet music
The sheet
inside it.
music. Yeah. We'll
That was
talk
good.
about that
Yeah, let's
at the
talk
time. Let's
about
talk
that.
Thanksgiving now. There's
Yes.
no Thanksgiving songs, is there? Over the river and through the. I don't know any Thanksgiving song. They play a lot of Christmas songs on Thanksgiving because it kind of opens up the Christmas season.
Right,
And I
right.
got to tell you something. I don't give Christmas a first thought until I know there are commercials and I know there people put up their decorations and everything, but until I see Santa Claus at the end of the Macy's parade, that's to me is the beginning of the Christmas season. It's still Thanksgiving that day because
Right.
usually that happens before you have your Christmas
Yeah.
your turkey dinner, but but
Yeah.
then the next day is Black Friday and all the shopping goes on. So,
Right.
so.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, who would we have? Who do we have first?
We have the Mills Brothers.
Oh yeah,
The best of the Mills Brothers.
yes,
They were like way back in the 1940s and 50s, I believe. And it's a really good record.
yeah. What are your favorite songs on the Mills Brothers?
They got Paper Dolls.
Yeah, these are your favorites. There's a lot of songs, like 20 songs. That was 30 songs.
I like the Basin Street Blues.
Basin 24 songs on there.
Yeah.
There's two records,
Right.
all their hits. Yeah.
And they got
Basin Street Blues. Yeah.
trying to think of another song that I like. Daddy's Little Girl.
Yeah,
That's a Al Martinez sung that one too.
that's right.
But they sing this one as well. So
Yeah.
they got it's a 2 record set.
Yeah.
So.
I have this record
Oh, you do?
at home.
That
Yeah.
same one?
Same one. Same picture on the
Wow.
front. And let's see. All these songs are really good. But there was a song on here. I mean, they have their hits Glowworm and Paper Doll. You
Yeah.
always hurt the one you love. But there's one Cab Driver. I don't think it's on here. But that's a really good song by the Mills Brothers. I can tell you all about the Mills Brothers. Okay, now if you see an old guy there, he's not one of the Mills Brothers. He's their father.
Oh, I
And what
didn't know
happened
that.
was this is the
Okay.
1950s version of
Oh,
the Mills
okay.
Brothers. They
Oh,
started, I don't know, maybe in the 20s, and they in the 1930s they became very popular. Like in 1935, 85 years ago, they became popular. Now, what
mm.
happened was almost as soon as they made it famous, one of the brothers died, just died, you know,
And then the father comes and
and
takes
the
over.
father comes and takes over.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And
Interesting.
then the father got really old, so he couldn't do it anymore. So they got a cousin or something, and he played the guitar, but he wasn't really much of a singer. And then the other three guys lasted through the 1980s.
Oh, wow.
And the last Mills brother died, I'm not kidding you, a month, like in December 1999. Can you
Wow.
imagine dying in 1999 and missing the whole 2000 millennium?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I felt bad because here's a guy who you spend your whole life wanting to see
Yeah.
a whole new millennium, which
Right.
sounds like I don't know. I still think of the year 2000 as a big deal because all
Right.
my life I was waiting for the year 2000 and then it happened.
Right.
I'm not going to give you my age, but my only my only acknowledgement of my age is I was born in the last century.
Oh, yeah.
I was born in the last millennium. Let me tell you about the Mills Brothers. Um, they were what they're they sang very well in their harmonies and all. There's a
Yeah.
really good video on YouTube from the 1980s where they sing with the Boston Pops. First time with the and
Oh.
John Williams was the conductor then of the Star Wars songs and everything. And anyway, the three of them perform, and one of the guys, the lead singer, is named Harry Mills. Harry Mills um, was a very relaxed singer
Yeah.
with the Mills Brothers. He's the one you hear mostly when you hear the Mills Brothers, and he was Dean Martin's favorite singer.
Oh.
And Dean Martin said that when the Mills Brothers appeared on the Dean Martin show, that was his biggest thrill because he got to sing with them. These were
Oh,
his
wow.
favorite, and Dean Martin had his voice. He tried to create this thing
Right.
that Harry Mills. Now
Yes.
they're a big deal in the 1930s and up through their whole career was they were originally called I think four guys and a guitar,
Mhm.
and then they were the Mills Brothers. They would. It's really cool to hear this, and you have to pay attention on these monaural um, uh, 1930s recordings when they play the guitar. You hear this band playing trumpets and stuff, but it's not trumpets. It's them making noises.
Oh.
And they
Oh.
actually would do like instrumental, and a lot of people didn't really know this until they did, I think, an instrumental of Caravan, which Caravan has really no lyrics by Duke Ellington, but it was all them. And then the flute, the guy plays the flute, and that's what, and the guitar was the only real music there. So it was
Right.
basically an a cappella band. They actually had a few albums where they sing barbershop quartet music, which they did very well.
Right.
They're also, let's face it, the first one of the first black acts, African American acts that make it in the mainstream modern white world 1930s.
Right.
All white listeners like the Mills Brothers an awful lot. Them and the Ink Spots. I think.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
the ink
yeah.
spots.
Well,
Yeah.
they
I have some ink spots back there.
yeah, those two groups, vocal groups, kind of set the stage for doo-wop and stuff in the
Yeah.
1950s. Mills Brothers, let's face it, went from the 1930s, their popularity, to the 1980s. The only regret I have in my life, I never got to see the Mills Brothers. But
Yeah.
they were something else, the Mills
Right.
Brothers. Yeah.
Right.
There's a few episodes of the Jack Benny show and the Lawrence Welk show and stuff. You will see that you could actually. There's a lot of the Mills Brothers on YouTube, clips of them singing. And they're all. It's very entertaining. So I
Right.
check those out.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we
The Mills
recommend
Brothers.
you to listen to them.
The
They're really
Mills
awesome.
Brothers, yes.
Yes, yes.
I was in a real Mills Brothers. The reason why I was rambling on about the Mills Brothers was I was in a real Mills Brothers uh, zone about 20 years ago, and I
Mm,
just wanted to listen to everything they did. They
right.
sang pop songs. They sang "Get a Job." They sang "Happy." These "Happy Together" by the Turtles. They sang these songs on their albums.
Wow.
Yeah, everyone knows the greatest hits, but sometimes if you can land these old album LPs, they're almost all LPs, and hear their other cuts, they're all good.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Yes.
Peter and Paul are still going strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mary Travers died years ago.
Yes. Yes. They have a lot of Peter, Paul, and Mary documentaries on PBS. They usually have them
Oh,
during their
okay.
fund drives and stuff.
Oh, wow.
You know, the documentaries are good. Then when the fund drive comes, change the channel.
Yeah.
If you already get, you should give, but once you give, you don't have to sit through
Right.
it.
Right. Right.
Now, Peter, Paul, and Mary were so popular
Yes.
when I was growing up. So tell me, what are the songs in here you like that by Peter, Paul, and Mary?
I like the Where All the Flowers Gone,
Oh yeah,
Lemon Tree,
oh yeah.
If I Had a Hammer.
All winners.
Yes.
You know, I have I'm gonna tell you about Peter, Paul, and Mary. Peter, Paul, and Mary were oh, I was at this guy. I forget their names. Peter Yarrow, Mary Travers, and then there was Paul Stuckey.
Oh, okay.
I think that's their names. And so what happened was Paul Stuckey is the tall guy.
Yeah.
Okay. And what happened was I was at I was in, this is a great story. I was in staying at Virginia Beach um, at a hotel, and I met these two young women that were traveling, and they're very nice women. And I was talking to them and everything, and got to know them. And one of the women was her last name was Stuckey. So I said, "Hey, did you know that Paul from Peter, Paul, and Mary, his last name is Stuckey too?" And then the other girl just looked at at Miss Stuckey and said, "Should we tell him?" He goes, "Yeah, he's my father." And then, of course, I wanted to talk about Peter, Paul, and Mary to them, you know. And they were very delightful young women traveling through. Everyone comes to Virginia Beach, and so I said, I've met a few relatives of celebrities, so I always ask them, and this is a good question to ask them, because what can you tell me about your dad or your brother or your cousin or something that's famous that you would never hear in a in a in an interview or in a book or a People magazine article?
Yeah.
And she said, "Okay, I'll tell you something." Now she's a young woman, and she probably was only in her 20s. And she said, when she was a kid, Peter, Paul, and Mary, their career, the folk music thing kind of, was kind of finished. So, but they were still performing in concerts. But as far as recording songs, they didn't really have any more hits. They had one more hit. And they tried out this song called "I Dig Rock and Roll Music," da, 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 which is not a, yeah, yeah. And and so my dad played this for me. He goes, "What do you think? Do you think the kids will like this?" And she thought this was the dumbest song ever. This is obviously a beatniks folk music uh, band's idea of what a rock and roll song sounds like. As it turned out, it was a big hit for Peter, Paul, and Mary, because it did. There were enough people that liked the song. But that's I've never seen Peter, Paul, and Mary perform, but they were. But they were great. If I had a hammer, what are you gonna say?
What year did you go to Virginia Beach that day? When you
I don't know, probably the 80s or so,
Oh.
1990s. Yeah, So, those days I was always around. I was always doing stuff. Virginia Beach is one of my favorite places
Yeah, me too.
because it has a beach.
Yeah, I love the beach.
Now, and you always meet cool people at the Virginia Beach because
Right.
they're all from somewhere else.
Yeah.
You hang around your hometown, you're only going to meet the postman and the garbage man
Yeah.
and the old lady walking her dog. And that's all you're going to meet. Okay. So Peter, Paul, and Mary, and but they had a song. They actually had another song, "Leaving on a Jet Plane."
Oh yeah, I love
First
that
hit
one.
song
Yeah.
written by John Denver, who actually
Yeah.
had a hit with it too, his
Yeah.
own song. And the that was like I guess about the same time I dig rock and roll music.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you also about Peter, Paul, and Mary. There's a very funny episode of them on the Jack Benny show. I think so is the Mills Brothers on there too, and where he tries to be a beatnik. These were like the hippies before there were hippies.
Yeah.
They wore nice skinny ties, and I try to create that sort of aura about me too. Too cool for the school. Anyway, and Peter, Paul, and Mary. There was a song on here you mentioned called "Where Have All the Flowers Gone." "Where Are All the Flowers Gone" is a great song. It was a big hit for Peter, Paul, and Mary. A big hit for a lot of people.
Decent trio.
Yes, and what happened was it was written, I think, during the Civil War, and
Oh
every
wow.
war it always came back as some sort of. But during the Vietnam War, this was 100-year old song. And by the
Yeah.
time Vietnam War coming, this is when they recorded it, and it struck a nerve with "Where Have All the Flowers Gone." It's such a poignant, sad song about war, and of course it was a big hit for Peter, Paul, and Mary. So
Yeah.
it's still a great song.
Right.
If the
Right.
song lasts more than 100 years, then you know it's a great song.
Right. Right.
It's stood the test of time.
Right.
I used to work at a place where we had music on the loudspeakers, and it had a lot of like old country and old folk songs.
Yeah.
And people were saying, why can't they put modern songs on there? Like I said, like what? He goes, well, modern songs like Wham, like some rap, the Beastie Boys. I said, listen, this stuff has already proved that it's still popular after at least 40 years. Are we still going to be listening to a lot of that stuff in 40 years? Wham? You remember who was in Wham?
George Michael
And
and
the other guy.
I was trying to think of his name. I forgot.
He was interviewed recently. His name was Andrew Ridgely.
Oh yeah.
But when Wham broke up and George Michael went on his own, people were wondering, what did Andrew Ridgely do on that? He sang backup. All right, here we go. Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay. You have quite the eclectic uh, LP collection.
Yes, I'm very proud of my LB collection because
Yeah.
I love old music, and
Mhm.
my grandparents and my parents passed it on down to me. So
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Very good.
yeah. Johnny Mathis.
Johnny.
This album belonged to my grandmother.
Yes.
Yeah, my grandmother had this in her collection
Yeah.
many years ago, along with the Mitch Miller Christmas.
Mhm.
So this is a really good album.
What are the big songs out there that you like?
It's called There's Warm,
Mhm.
My One and Only Love,
Oh yeah.
Baby, 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 A Handful of Stars, By Myself,
Mhm.
I've Grown Accustomed to Her Face,
Oh yeah.
Then I'll Be Tired of You, I'm Glad There Is You, Will I'll Do, The Lovely Things You Do, There Goes My Heart, While We're Young.
Yes. Well, I noticed from that album mainly like covers of jazz standards on there, and which he sings very well. He had hits. One. What was his hits?
Yeah,
Chances are, I know.
yeah,
I mean,
wonderful, wonderful.
wonderful, wonderful. Yeah.
It's not for me to say.
Yes. One of the probably possessed one of the
The
greatest
12th of
voices.
Never. The
The
12th
12th of
of
Never.
Never.
One of the greatest voices of the early '60s and late '50s.
Yes.
Johnny Mathis still popular, still going strong. Johnny Mathis is somebody told me what was the joke? Uh, what who do you think is more romantic, singer, Frank Sinatra, Elvis Presley. I think it's in the movie Diner, and some guy yells out, "Johnny Mathis!" Beats them all, and he is. He all romantic songs. Every song is great. Now Johnny Mathis, probably his biggest hit. People don't know it. Is he sang the theme song to Family Ties with Michael
Oh,
J. Fox.
oh yeah, with Denise
One,
Williams.
yeah, what
Yeah,
should they do, baby, without love? Whatever that song,
yeah,
without love. Yeah, that's him singing on there.
yeah.
And Johnny Mathis is he's still when he comes to he plays in Las Vegas, and when he comes
Right,
to
right.
with the singing with the symphony when they come to town, he's still quite a thing. Everyone loves Johnny Mathis.
And he did a lot with Percy Faith in his orchestra
Percy
too.
Faith
Like, yeah,
was his
his
man.
backup band,
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
he
You have
also,
a good orchestra, it makes a difference.
yeah, he also sung with Denise Williams, of course. We
Denise
just
Williams.
talked about that. So
Let's hear it for the boy. Let's hear it for
yeah,
Johnny.
yeah.
I know. Speaking of orchestras, I went to see Frank Sinatra. I told that story before,
Oh
but
yeah.
let me just tell you that when the orchestra started to play, it was like the most. You've heard the New York Philharmonic and the Boston Pops and the London Symphony Orchestra.
Right, right.
This sounded like it was almost like all harps and strings and
Mm,
it sounded like those orchestras you hear at the Academy Awards,
right, right.
all those glissandos and everything.
Yes,
And so it's very important these singers like Johnny Mathis. It was
yes.
no more Sinatra and Dean Martin or anything. So him and Tony Bennett still singing. So you need those great orchestras. Hear those again. I think that though
Right,
in the case of Tony Bennett, I think he just sings up to a piano because he's
right.
very confident in how he can sing, even
Yeah,
even in his 90s.
yeah.
So Johnny Mathis, yes.
Yeah, I recommend y'all to listen to this one. This particular album may be on YouTube
Yeah.
because they do whole albums on YouTube
Mm,
sometimes. So
Johnny Mathis.
check this one out, y'all. It's great.
Yeah. Johnny.
So
Yeah.
and
Strange, a grown-up man with the name Johnny.
that was actually my grandfather's name.
Yeah.
Yeah, his real name was John Bruce Womack,
Yeah.
but they just call him Johnny for nickname.
Johnny. Yeah.
So
Even when he was an old man.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Your family still calls you Johnny and Timmy and Billy and but you don't want your friends to call you that.
Right, right.
I'm John.
Yeah.
I'm serious John. Don't call me Johnny. Here's the Johnny. All right. Now.
Carly Simon.
Mhm.
This is a really good album because it has all her greatest hits that she ever did.
Ah, it's the Beast of Carly Simon. Is that what it's called?
The best of Carly Simon. Yeah,
Carly is just so good. Carly is a lovely voice,
I agree.
and
Yes.
Carly, uh, I met her in New York at Tower Records signing
Yes, yes,
autographs.
I
There's a
saw a
famous
picture of
picture,
her.
yeah.
It was so
And
cool.
she has stage fright, so she doesn't do a lot of concerts.
Oh,
So that was even just to see her at Tower Records. Remember that? It
yeah,
was a big deal, and I
yeah.
waited a long time, like 3 hours in line, and oh, she had an album out, and I didn't want to buy one. Carly Simon is good, but I don't think her albums are all that different from each other.
Yeah,
You're better off just getting the greatest hits because they're all good, and then you
right.
know the songs on there. And I said, I'll you have to buy something that has it's a Carly Simon on it. So I bought this album with greatest hits of Gershwin with Larry Adler, and she sang with Larry Adler, famous harmonica player, and she had not seen that album. And I
Oh,
said, I didn't buy your new album. When I spoke to her, I said, I want you to sign the booklet with your next to your picture of this album, and she was so excited. She didn't know it was out, and she sang
mm.
"I've Got a Crush on You." I think it's the song
Oh,
she sings
wow.
on there. She sings it very well. And Carly Simon has these albums where she sings standards like Film Noir, My Romance, and
Yeah.
I forget the other one, but they're very good albums, and she's so good. But my favorite song is not one of her typical hits. It's the song from the James Bond movie,
Oh,
Nobody Does It Better, which I think is my favorite James Bond theme.
Oh yeah,
And
nobody does it's better.
yes, and it's
Yeah.
from The Spy Who Loved Me, and Marvin Hamlish wrote it. Yeah, and picking Carly Simon, who at those days, even in the 1970s when the movie was made, Carly Simon was somewhat popular, but wasn't a as big a name, was just magic, and she did it
Right.
so well. That song. Now, what song? I guess all the hits are on there. 'Cause
Yeah.
nobody does it better on there.
I don't think so.
That was probably done
Yeah.
before that. But of
Yeah.
course, Anticipation
Right. That's on here too.
and yeah,
Um.
and You're So Vain, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Haven't Got Time for the Pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all on there.
Yeah. I'll read it to you.
Yeah.
That's the way I've always heard it should be. That's a good one. The Right Thing to Do. Mockingbird. She does that with James Taylor, of course.
Her husband.
Yes.
At,
Husband at the time. Yes.
She had a few husbands. Yeah.
Yeah. Legend in Your Own Time. Haven't Got Time for the Pain. It's actually my favorite. You're So Vain. That was my favorite as well. We Have No Secrets. Night Owl. Anticipation. And Attitude Dancing.
Yes. Oh yeah, they're all good. And I remember Carly had a. She was one of those people you always, if you saw Carly Simon concert, good luck. Like I said, she had
Yeah.
stage fright, and I think if you see her interviewed every once in a while, sadly she has a bit of a stutter, and that
Yeah.
kind of kept her. You don't hear it when she sings.
Right.
People sadly when they stutter, they don't they stutter. They don't stutter when they sing, and they don't stutter when they're with their dogs, and they don't stutter when they're alone. If you saw the King's Speech,
Right.
used to be, I think, it was really awful. If you were left-handed, the nuns or something or the teacher would smack your left hand and say you got to use the right hand, and that caused a lot of stuttering, you know. So I don't know, sadly, but I think she's gotten she makes appearances on TV every once in a while singing,
Right.
and but Carly Simon is just so good. Uh, Carly Carly is from a rich family.
Oh.
She you always hear about these singers come from poor families and
Right.
making it big, but she
Yeah.
already was from a rich family. Her father is Simon, I think, of Simon and Schuster Publishing,
Yeah.
or somewhere in her family that's there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard that she had sisters who sung with her too years ago.
Lucy Simon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Simon sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she even has an Oscar. She I, the song she did the songs from Working Girl.
Oh,
I think
okay.
that might have won an Oscar for her.
Right. Right.
Or she appeared at the Oscars singing them.
Right.
It's as good as it.
Yeah.
You don't really hear great theme songs of movies anymore.
Right.
I don't know why, but it used to be they had these wonderful themes, and they'd have big stars singing them. The closest thing is the James Bond movies still try to keep that going,
Right.
but other than since I think Duran's big theme, I can't remember any of them.
Right.
Sam Smith, I think, won an Oscar for a James Bond theme.
Yeah.
They used to have Nancy Sinatra
Right.
and all those other singers.
Right.
I had an album, a CD, I probably still have it, where it has all the James Bond themes, all of them. So like 30 of them, and they're all good. They're all worth listening to, and Carly Simons is on there too.
Yeah, how I got into Carly Simon is my grandfather was a big fan of Carly Simon, just like he was Barbra Streisand and all the other people.
Yeah.
But he had a cassette one time years ago. It was I forgot what the album was called, but it was made like in the night around 1987 or 88 somewhere in there. And there was a song called Itsy Bitsy Spider.
Oh yeah, I remember that her version of that.
Yeah, me and my cousins. I think my cousins were around when we listened to it, and they were like, "That's our favorite song."
I could tell you a little bit. I didn't really know that song all that well when I was a kid.
Yeah.
A lot of little girls know it, and my sister knew that song. And I think Carly Simon appeared on the Merv Griffin show in the afternoon, and we were watching it. I always watch it for the comedy, the comedians. I didn't really watch it for the music.
Yeah.
But Carly Simon was the guest, and the first thing she went into was the Itsy Bitsy Spider. I mean, she sang it the way she sings all her songs. But then my sister started singing along with us. I said, "How do you know this song? Do you know Carly Simon?" She goes, "No, that's a song that we sing all the time at school, in the playground." At that point, I realized I got to be in touch with the common man. I got to know what everyone is singing and playing and talking about, so I could be part of the. Because I was like, "What? I never heard that song before." I was like 8 years old. I'm not one of these people that when I'm even at 8 years old, if I didn't know something, I admitted it. Okay, I got to know it. I got to know it. Some people just say, "Well, I don't have to know these things." You know, I hate those people.
Right.
When I don't know something, I want to know about it.
Yeah.
And that's what YouTube and Wikipedia and Google and all that stuff is for.
Right. Right.
Now we can just look it up. It used to be we had to rely on our friends to tell us nonsense.
Yeah.
Now we can go to the internet that tell us nonsense.
Right. Right. Right.
Okay, we got time for some more. Show us what's the of the two. What's the one you want? Yeah, I think this is That's
This
probably.
one is.
Oh man!
My dad found this one at a thrift store not too long ago.
Wow.
This is called The Greatest Broadway Songs Shows Show Music of All Time.
Very good. Can I see this?
Yeah, sure.
Wow, it's heavy.
It's got a lot of records in it, that's why.
I'm buckling like a horse here.
My dad bought that.
I want to see your face. You had it covered up with your face. You were like this. You're like Kilroy was here.
Well, it was too heavy.
I don't care how heavy something is. I'm going to show my face.
Yeah.
You know, I was at a. I got to tell you something funny. I was at a. Good Morning. Was it Good Morning? Not Good Morning America. It's the other one. Whatever the CBS one. Whatever the CBS.
CBS This Morning.
Yeah, but it was called something else in the day. And we were there with the children's theater, and they made us make signs, and people were decorating signs, and I was next to a young boy, and every time the camera would bud, he would hold this up in front of my face. I said, "Hey, this is my chance to be on television. I'm not gonna have this stupid sign in front of my face. I'd rather them see my face and then maybe interview me as a featured guest on Good Morning America, which they never did."
You were in Virginia this morning.
No, it was it was in New York, and it was Harry Smith was the host of it in those days. Now it has but I don't know who's on it now. David Hartman. Is Hugh Downs still on it?
Back in the early '90s when I was a kid.
Dave Garroway still on it? Oh.
Back in the early '90s, there was Paul Lazon.
Paul Lazon. Yeah, I don't remember. I mean, I remember them. I remember them after they left. I said, "Oh, they were good.
Yeah.
Well, they're better than the person that replaced them." There was one guy in Good Morning America. He was so hated. His name was David Hartman, and he said, "Oh, I'm going to go to better things after I leave Good Morning America." And when he left Good Morning America, you never heard from him again. They actually hated him so much during that show that they actually threw a going away party after he left.
Oh, Lordy.
I mean, they actually had a big party in
really?
the top of Rockefeller Center or something because they were so happy that this guy was no longer there. He's still around and he's never worked since.
He was probably a big jerk.
Well, that's why.
Yeah.
Nobody seemed to like him. He was the guy. Actually, I actually use a phrase that my phrase is actually his phrase. I'll tell you where I got it from. At the end of the show, somebody wrote he always ended Good Morning America with "make it a good day," and that's what I say. I don't say have a good day. I say make it a good day. But so many people hated that guy. Once I took that phrase, everyone forgot about David Hartman saying. Lucas Tanner, he had a TV show. He was an actor who became a news guy in the morning, and then went on the road to oblivion.
Oh, wow.
I hope he saved all his money because he needed it.
Yeah.
So tell me about this brick.
It has.
This is a corner. This is like a tombstone. It's so big.
It's got some good Broadway tunes on it.
Yeah.
Looks like it's.
Name one.
Gone with the Winds.
That's a Broadway show.
I don't know. It looks like the Clark
It's open.
Gable and the.
No, that's Oklahoma.
Oh, it is?
I don't think that's Clark Gable.
Oh,
But Oklahoma's a good show.
Yeah, it is. I have
It's
the
a pretty good
soundtrack back
show,
there too.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Wow. These 78s,
No, they're 33 and a
they're
third.
33. There must be a dozen. Wow, this is something else. Hold this. I mean, hold this so people can see it. And oh, I see. And then it has all the songs written here,
Oh yeah.
and then you play the songs here. And I think they're all instrumental, so you can sing along to them. Let me see what they got. I can't. Gosh, is this an eye test or something? Now I got to show my age. I got to. I mean, this is really small. Can you read that? Okay.
I can read what
Okay. Paint Your Wagon, My Fair Lady. Some shows I never even heard of. Sally, Roberta, I've heard of. Some of these really 1930s stuff. I think this is probably from the 1950s. This thing. Hold that up. This is probably from the 1950s. So the hits were from the 1950s, which is really a golden age for musicals because you still had the stuff from the 1930s. You still had the Rodgers and Hammerstein stuff and the Gershwin stuff and the Irving Berlin shows, which weren't. If you know Broadway in those days, they weren't like. Let me put this away here. If you know Broadway in those days, they weren't. Those shows were just basically just these simple stories
Right.
that they put a lot of songs in.
Yeah.
It wasn't until Rodgers and Hammerstein came that you know that guy. It wasn't until Rodgers and Hammerstein came that that they took serious stuff like Oklahoma, written by Edna Ferber. Hey, we're doing something. You know that guy?
No.
We can't answer the phone. We got an audience here.
Yeah.
So anyway, so they would take what was Sound of Music was a
Right.
story,
Right.
and they actually crafted. You know, if you took the music out of a lot of these Broadway shows made in the 1950s, they
Right.
actually could stand alone as serious stories. You know,
Right.
South Pacific was based on a James Mitchell.
Right.
You know, they made musicals about, but in the 1930s and 40s, it was basically just, you know, boy meets girl type love stories, and then they um, just put a bunch of pretty songs on.
Right. Right.
But 1950s was a good time for musicals because you had My Fair Lady based on Pygmalion by George Bernard Shaw.
Right.
So yeah, that was pretty good those days. So all these songs they're instrumentals, and you could sing along to these. You should
Yeah.
use these like for what do you call it for rehearsals.
Right. Right.
Not rehearsals. Auditions.
Right.
You just sing along to the symphony orchestra,
Right.
Oklahoma or something.
Yeah.
Well, I told you the story. I was in Oklahoma, and our friend Naomi was directing it,
Oh, okay.
and I got to sing the song Oklahoma.
Right.
A lot of great songs in Oklahoma, and one, you know, Oklahoma where the wind just. They didn't think my voice was strong enough to carry this song, so they actually said, "Listen, after you sing the first couple of lines, do you mind if we all sing with you this song?"
Right.
And I
Right.
said, "Not only do I not mind you singing along with me, everyone in the audience is going to sing this song with me because
Right.
everybody wants to sing that song, Oklahoma."
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So actually, that's one of my favorite like audition songs to sing Oklahoma because everybody,
Yeah.
even if you're a lousy singer, go ahead, sing it.
Oklahoma, where the
We
bass
just
tripping down the plain.
the waving
Sweet, the sound so sweet.
wind comes right behind the rain. Oh, yeah. So and one of the funniest versions of that song I ever heard was, um, oh, you're gonna love this. Bette Midler had a special, and it had she's from Hawaii, and they had all these Hawaiian guys playing tom toms and with the hula skirts, and they're all singing, you know, like a luau type of thing.
Wow.
And this big clamshell came out, and she came
Oh.
out of it, Bette Midler dressed in a hula skirt, just like the Birth of Venus.
Oh.
And you think she's going to sing in a Hawaiian song. The first thing she goes, "Oh, Oklahoma, where the wind just sweeping down." It had nothing to do with Hawaii,
Oh,
and it was so good. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, well, we'll put that
Right.
we'll put yeah. By the way, every time you watch one of these shows, I try to find. We mentioned songs and musicians and stuff, and I put them in the comments section so you could so you're not lost. I just mentioned a good version of a particular song. Maybe I can find that and put it in there. So look down in the comments after all the "we hate your show." Go home. The comments section. God,
Yeah.
the devil is in the details. I tell you, if you don't learn humility uh,
Yeah.
in this internet era, read. If you think you're the greatest thing ever, read your comments.
Right.
All I read is bad. Actually, lately I've been on an upswing, but
Right.
I've done shows where they made fun of my eyebrows, they made fun of the hair in your ears. Double chin, forget about it.
Yeah.
They'll point out every. If you think you have the perfect look, just read your comments.
Yeah.
But don't take them seriously. I'm not saying you should take them seriously either.
Mhm.
I just move on.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
because I think the comment section is. It'd be nice if they said nice things, but they don't always say nice things.
Yeah.
That's why all you can do is just keep doing. My favorite show. You know my best show I've done here.
What?
The next one.
Yes.
The next show is going to be better than the current show. And the
Yes.
next show, the next show, the next show. So we just got to keep going on.
Right.
So, what do you have to warn us in the next week or so for Thanksgiving?
I just hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving, no matter what the circumstances are, because me myself is still going to celebrate. So, because that's my usual thing every year. So, just like Christmas, I celebrate Christmas. So, you know, so hallelujah. So,
Hallelujah.
yep, yep, yep.
So
And
so you have a happy rest of November, and don't spend all your money on the next day after Thanksgiving, where we all go broke.
yeah,
It's funny, we pay our credit card bill, and we're just about paid up by next
yeah,
by next November. Then we start the whole thing over again.
yeah, yeah,
Takes us 11 months to pay the credit card bill, and then and then in
yeah,
1 month we blow it all.
yeah, yeah,
Actually, this year, I must say, I'm not big on buying gifts because I think I tell you the best gift you could do, and
right.
and, and we allow you to do this. Take our show and make and burn DVDs or CDs of it and
Yes,
play them in your car. You don't really need to look
right,
at us while you do the show. It
right,
helps, but it's not that important.
right.
Put on the show. All these shows I've been doing lately, I've been
Yes,
you could do your housework. You could do your cooking. You could, in my case, chop vegetables. It's hard work.
let
So yeah.
yeah, let our show be a gift to you on Christmas, so, during the holidays. So you might want to like burn a lot of CDs to get to your family members. So
Yeah. And if you really hate your family members, make them two CDs. So, and hand it to them and say, give this to your friend if you have any. All right. Thank you for hosting me today, and you're watching
as always,
the Mary Elizabeth Variety Hour.
yes. And I hope
Tune
y'all
in next week.
yeah tune in next week on the same station. And I hope y'all have a wonderful evening and may God bless you all.
L'chaim.